Zootopia, also known as Zootropolis in the UK, universally positive ratings. I watched it on Disney Plus. Jennifer Goodwin, Jason Bateman, Shakira, J.K. Simmons, Idris Elba, Alan Tudyk, Octavia Spencer, Bonnie Hunt, Kristen Bell, John DiMaggio, Omar Sy, Felicity Jones. When I found out Jennifer Goodwin was Judy in the film, I was like, oh god damn, that's Snow White from Once Upon a Time. Like, I'm assuming that, she had done that show for, by the time the film came out, like 5 years. So I'm guessing ABC, who's owned by Disney, are like, you know what? We're gonna tell the higher ups about you and maybe make you a movie star. And she did Zootopia and then nothing else. Like, she continued to do Once Upon a Time until the show ended, but I really haven't seen her in anything else since, or even before Once Upon a Time. Um, and it is a shame, but it does kind of remind me of Inside Out, the fact that they got Amy Poehler as Joy, because the first film came out at the height of her career, like Parks and Rec had just ended, but then they took 9 years to make the sequel, and by that point her career was, like, she's trying to hang on, but it's been dead for years. The difference is I actually like Jennifer Goodwin. But as for the film itself, it's really funny. Like, I expected it to be funny, but I didn't think it was going to be as funny as it was. On top of that, the lessons in the film, like, it was done with a lot of respect, because I was reading about how the original draft of the script, it focused on Nick, and what the plan was that all the predators were gonna have shock collars on them, and it was too depressing, and the themes were too in your face. And some other writers were like, okay, like, you've got some great stuff here, but just make it brighter, because this is a kids' film, and make the themes more covert. Make them more subtle. And they they did it the best way that they could. Like, they're teaching kids about racism without making it like, it's not cringe like that one with the girl from Steven Universe. Um, and it's not like woke or anything like that. It's it's just teaching them in a subtle way with no further agenda. So it was really good. I didn't know Nick was a con man. I thought he was also a cop, and it was just going to be like Lethal Weapon, but a kids movie. Um, but because they did make Nick a con man, that also sort of taught second chances, and um, people aren't what they appear, and stuff like that. And it's just, there's so many lessons in this film, and sorry, hair in my mouth. So many lessons in it. It's just they do it perfectly. Nothing else to say. Moving on. Lincoln Lawyer, the movie. Universally positive ratings. I watched it on Film 4. Matthew McConaughey, Ryan Philippe, Marissa Tomei, Michael Pena, Shea Wiggum, Bryan Cranston, Bob Gunton, William H. Macy, Michaela Conlon, I started this film over 2 years ago. I was hungover after getting my A level results. For people who don't live in the UK, A levels are exams you do when you're 18. They're optional. And that night we went out for drinks and a meal to celebrate, and I was very much hungover the next day, and I was just watching just random stuff on the Sky app on my PlayStation, and eventually I was like, you know what? I got the Lincoln Lawyer right here. So I'll watch that because I've seen the first episode of the show and it's pretty good, and I've seen what you call it, Time to Kill, and that's great. So you know I can't wait for this. I don't remember how far I got into it, but I just didn't get around to finishing it until recently. This is another one of the films that I didn't on film for, and I forgot to do the review until now. Um, Literally, I'm only doing these two, so that don't forget. Somehow I forgot about Zootopia, even though when I made my Lost Judgment beginning review, it was only like a couple hours after I watched Zootopia, so I don't know how I forgot about it. But anyway, I remembered like 99% of the things that I had seen on my first watch. I did rewatch it from the start the second time. Um, and the film's great. It's got so many twists and turns, and it's not just your average lawyer film like there is. There's charm, there's really smart writing, great acting, which is not like no shit. Look at this cast. So that's all I can really say about it.